So you heard two songs already. The first one being that there's only love, and the second one being, well, what's love got to do with it? You know, and as you listen to music in general, you hear all of these different themes. You know, there's Karen Drucker, there is only love, and then there is the Beatles, love is all there is, you know. And so what does that mean? So one of the things I wanted to do is to explore this question, because we are told love is the answer, but I think everybody means something different. And so what do you think of when you think of love? Kitties? Or puppy dogs? Or maybe precious babies? Okay. Or it could be romance. Okay. Or maybe friends. Or maybe you experience love in nature. Or maybe you love something else, like chocolate. Or something with your chocolate, like coffee. Or chances are good that there's a number of other things that you might say you love. Fast cars, you know, who knows? Electronics, you know, just a new drum, you know, just, yeah, all kinds of things. We use this word all the time to talk about this, you know, and we see it on billboards, we see it in the movies, we see it on book titles, all the music that's out there. And we know what it feels like. You know, we feel all warm and fuzzy when we get this warm, fuzzy feeling, and when we see it happening with other people, and we know that this is what love is. And we think that it is something that we have to have, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but we know it when we see it, we know it when we receive it, we know it when we feel it, but we can't define it very easily. And we also, it causes some of our greatest joy in life when we believe we have it. It also can cause some of our greatest sorrows and some of our greatest pain when we believe it is lost. And so this thing called love is really kind of confusing. I can remember as a kid, I just remember being really confused about this thing called love. My family was not particularly demonstrative, and so love was kind of reserved for special occasions, or, you know, a ritualistic kind of thing, like at night before you go to bed, you go hug everybody and kiss them goodnight, you know, that kind of thing. And so, you know, that was one aspect of love. But there seemed to be all of these other rules around it. You know, love was reserved for certain people, certain times, certain situations, like family members, grandparents, family gatherings, things that, go hug great aunt so-and-so. Do I have to? Yeah, so it wasn't emanating necessarily from a feeling, it was something I was doing, was told to do. And then there was this criteria about who I could love as I grew older. Only the right kind of people. Somebody has to be in my age group, my ethnicity, perhaps my education level, perhaps within my profession. But there was all of these unspoken criteria, and then there was also another one underlying that, which is, well, they're not worth loving. You know, there was this feeling worthy of that, you know, somebody had to meet a certain level of standards before they were worthy of being loved by me or anybody else, for that matter. And so I got a lot of these ideas in my youth that hung around for a long time. And one of the most pervasive ones for me was that I had to earn it. I had to be smart enough. I had to do enough. I had to be good enough. Compliant enough. Say the right things at the right time for the right people. There were all of these kinds of things that led me to believe that if only I were enough, I could be loved. And so I also had this idea about sacrifice, that I had to give up something in order to love somebody or to be loved, that there was not a bringing of a wholeness, you know, that was a half thing. got to do my 50%. Well, what happened to the other 50% of me? You know, I mean, so I had all these ideas as I came into young adulthood. And then the movie that kind of, I thought defined it for me. You are probably familiar with this movie, many of you. It's, remember Love Story? And here in one simple sentence, I got the definition. It cleared it all up. Love means never having to say you're sorry. How well does that work? It doesn't work real well for my life, you know. I mean, I find that it's probably the opposite of that, actually. Works better when I say I'm sorry. And then it kind of like capped off my teenage years with listening to country music. And so you might imagine the kind of additional ideas that I got through that. Things about, you know, how you couldn't live without love, and you crave it, and you chase it, and you catch it, and you find it, and you have it, and you lose it, and then you drink about it. And then you do it all again, you know, because repeat, repeat, repeat. So I've had this lifelong journey. This is what I would call a live question for me. This lifelong journey of what is love? We talk about it all the time, but what is love? And I assumed that there would be one definition that I could go with, that I could understand, guide my life by, because I want to do it right. Because I have to do it right to earn it. And then when I was preparing for an L&O just recently, now I'm skipping, 40, 50 years, but I was preparing for my L&O, and I saw a slogan that gave me pause to think. And the slogan was, "Love is love." Now, maybe you've seen this slogan. It's on the internet. It's a slogan by a photographer out of Alaska that they're doing an epic photography thing to celebrate same-sex coupleship. And so it's just a photographic essay. And their slogan is, "Love is love." And I thought, yeah, love is love. And I was thinking that way because this was like in December when I was thinking about this. Kelly and I had just gone to California and gotten married. And we did that because, of course, Missouri can't figure out what they're doing. And so love is love. I'm going, yeah, that's it. Love is love. But then I realized I only had 5 to 7 minutes in my L&O to talk about it. And I thought, I'm going to have to save that subject for a little bit bigger venue. So you're getting it here. But at any rate, love is love. I was thinking about that, and I'm going, well, that's not very helpful either in terms of a definition, because if you use it in that context, it's fine for what they're doing. It honors the affectional nature of the relationships that they're documenting. But it does not go where I need it to go in my personal life in terms of how do I express love in the world? How am I love? How am I showing up as love? So I started thinking about some of the many dimensions of love. And I know that you're familiar with these, but there are things like it's an attraction that you feel for somebody. Or maybe it is something that we possess, or maybe we feel like we have to chase it. Some people feel like they fall in love, like falling in a pothole or down the stairs. They don't have any control over it. It just happens. Or is it chemistry? This chemical attraction. Or maybe it's just emotion, just like the song said. It's merely emotion. Others say it's something that you have to have in your life to thrive, to feel alive, and to fully experience life. Others say, and unity is among this, that it's who we are, that it is part of our being, part of our makeup. And so I got a lot more clarity around this when I ran into Charles Fillmore when I got to seminary. And he's written volumes on this, chapters in every book that he wrote that he talks about love. He declared love to be one of the 12 powers, which is an inborn, innate power that you don't have any control over whether you have it or not. You've got it. What we have control over is how we express it. And it is one of these things that we are born with. And then he goes on, and I have a passage I'd like to share with you because he puts some more clarity around it other than being born with it. And it is, love in divine mind is the idea of universal unity. Of all the attributes of God, love is undoubtedly the most beautiful. Love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony the universe and everything in it. Divine love is impersonal. It loves for the sake of loving. Love is the great harmonizer. And right here, all Christians should know that the greatest idea in divine mind is love. God is love. So this and many others caused me to summarize Fillmore's teachings in this way, that love is broad, unlimited, universal, attracting, harmonizing, unifying, and the affectional power that runs the universe. It's multidimensional. I used to say God's like a disco ball. You know, with the light shining on it, it depends on where you're standing, what you see, and what's reflected off of it. And that still works for an image for me sometimes. So we have this thing called love within us, and it is our superpower. Da, 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 da. We have command of the power of love when we consciously connect with it, consciously direct it, determine how it is that we want to express it, and go forth and do so. But if you look around the world, can you tell that? Look out in the world and see how much pain there is, and how much suffering, and how much homelessness, and how much helplessness, and violence, and addiction. All these expressions. And I have to ask myself, where is love? Where is love in all of this?
You're asking, what are you doing? It's a really good question. I used to ask myself that. You see, I was a teacher. I had a great life. I had friends, family, a nice house, vacations, all of that. I was one of you. And then I lost everything. A situation occurred, and it all vanished, all of it. And ever since then, my kids and I have been living everywhere, in people's houses, in shelters, in our car. And honestly, I've been doing everything to get us out of this mess, to make things better. I just can't put all the pieces together at the same time. So when you ask the question, what are you doing? Well, I think it's a really good question because I just know that if somebody would give me a chance, I could do it.
And I'm that person that shows up at your family reunion or your wedding or whatever it is, and the whole place just groans. I'm that person that you hope won't show up at your party. I'm the person you wonder what's in their cup. Why has he always got that cup? You know, I see you roll your eyes at me and walk away from me, and I feel so empty about it. I try, you know, there's a reason why I know I'm drunk, or I'm almost drunk, if I come to your event at all. I just can't help it. But you don't know that emptiness inside of me, that pain in me, that emptiness in my gut that has been so bad in my life, that when I was young, I even sold my soul. And that's something nobody, not even me, should ever have to do. I'm trying. I really am. I've tried to quit since I was a teenager. I have tried everything. And I'm not really a bad person. I just need some help. Doesn't anybody care?
Doesn't anybody care? Oh boy, that's a good one. Doesn't anybody care? I wish I cared, and yet I do. I'm that person you see just like this. I'm walking around day and night in sunglasses and long sleeves. I'm that person that shows up at the ER because, geez, I'm so clumsy. I'm always having these weird accidents. Actually, I'm that person who is really embarrassed. My husband is a great guy. Everybody loves him. They think he is the life of the party. Oh man, he is so fun. He's wonderful. And what y'all don't know, he's a monster. Yeah, he's a monster. It's like he's got this time bomb inside of himself, and it's always ticking. It's like I can hear it ticking. I don't know why everybody doesn't hear it. It's tick, 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 tick. And then, I don't know when, but bam, the whole thing goes off. And where does it go off? Right here. And I'm the one who gets it. Oh, boy. My mom and my best friend, they're the two people that I dare talk to. And they always say to me, why don't you just leave? You don't have to live like this. This isn't good. But it's complicated. It's not that easy. It isn't that easy. It's really complicated to live this way. And even though it looks like it, I'm not a weak person. I'm not a weak person, and I'm not stupid, and I'm not even a victim. But here's my problem. I have trouble believing that I deserve a better life. Because I've heard over and over and over again why I'm basically a piece of crap. And I have trouble believing that I could have a better life and that it would stay that way. So sometimes at night when I'm all by myself and grateful to be alive, I think I could have a new life, but I just need some help. I just need some help.
So everybody take a deep breath. So, where's the love? It's here, in this room. It's us. We are the love. We know where the love lives. We know how to direct the love. We know how to use this power of love. We are the love, and it is our job to show up as the full expression of love. And so we might ask, how do we do this? These were just a few examples that you saw. How do we do this? Well, our spiritual teachers have given us some guidelines along the way. The Buddha said, however many holy words you read, however many you speak. What good will they do you if you do not act upon them? What good do they do you if you do not act upon them? We are each called according to our own gifts and our passions. You know, my gifts and passions are not necessarily yours, and yours are not necessarily that of your neighbor or of your partner, but each of us have a unique and precious gift that is ours to share with the world, that is ours to gift, to take out and show the world this is what love looks like. In our diversity is where our strength is. Because I show up different than you do or anybody, so other people here. But each of us make a difference in the world. It's important that each of us shine our light. We are the way that God gets around, if you will. And so we put shoes on our prayers and we show up as love. And Mother Teresa said it this way. She said, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. Just small things. And what are those things? We can't do everything. We can do one thing. Or we can do a couple of small things. So Jesus, our way shower, gave us a list. He said, here you go. Matthew 25:35. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Each of these are ways in which we can show up as love. And there are many, many, many other ways. That's just a short list. So what I want to do at this point is go into meditation, because one of the things I found for me is that I didn't know what my gifts were, what my purpose was, what my passion was, what I am called to do. I was always raising my hand and joining somebody else's bandwagon, And I needed to know what is mine to do. And so this pocket heart that you have, that's to remind you. You can hold it in your hand while we go into meditation if you like. But it is to remind you of this time and this place and what your consciousness and God, as you understand God, brings to you as yours to do. So as we prepare for meditation, go ahead and be comfortable. You might put your feet on the floor and drop your shoulders. Relax your muscles, the muscles in your face. And focus on your heart space as you take a deep breath. And know that you are love. You are the perfect, divine expression of God's love. And as you take another deep breath, breathing into your heart space, you feel that love that you are expanding and growing and glowing as the light that you are shines brightly. And as you hold yourself gently, very gently in this light, ask yourself this question. What is mine to do? I know I'm love. What is mine to do? Consider this as we go into the silence. And as you continue to hold yourself in the light, we consider our second question. And maybe we have an answer to the first one, and maybe we don't, but that will unfold. So we remain open and willing, and we ask ourselves this question. What's stopping me? What's stopping me from shining my light, from being love in the world? And we consider this as we go into the silence once again. And so we take this time now to take a deep breath. And we rest with the questions. What is mine to do? And what is stopping me? We are the light of the world. We are the love in the world. When we have our knowing of what is ours to do, we go forth in the world. Each of us uniquely qualified to do what we are called to do is love. You matter. Your gift matters. What you bring to the world matters. So we'll close this time of meditation. And I want to say thank you for your willingness, your presence, your consciousness, and your love.